Hello everyone, I'm Mike with M&G Hydraulic Technologies, and today we're going to be working on a SRM 2620, and this is a ECHO weed eater, brush cutter, weed whacker, whatever you want to call it. In my opinion, they're all the same thing. We're going to be replacing the trigger. As you can see right here, the trigger has broken off. Right here, supposed to be a trigger right there, and it broke off, so we're going to replace that, and I'm going to walk you through it. Now, I typically don't repair ECHO equipment, but it shouldn't be any more different than a steel brush cutter, so I'm going to go ahead and see what I get myself into. I don't anticipate this to be a very long video. I'm going to say maybe 5 minutes. Well, just to replace this trigger. I'm also going to grease the gear head and grease the shaft that's inside this tube here. So that's probably going to be somewhere closer to 20 minutes. So if you have that kind of time, I encourage you to watch the full video, subscribe and like, comment. I really appreciate it. With no further delay, let's get rolling. Once again, it's an ECHO SRM 2620, and we're going to replace the trigger, we're going to grease the gear head, and we're going to grease the drive shaft that's inside the tube. So let's get started. Thank you for joining my channel, and for coming to my channel. Thank you very much. We're going to remove these 4 screws to take off this half of this throttle assembly. So we're going to use a Torx 27 to remove the 4 screws. That was a little tight on there. Yep, okay. So we'll set these 4 aside. We'll go ahead and pop this off carefully. 4 screws right there. We'll set them off to the side over here, or I could just put them right there to keep them from losing. And right here, real quickly, here is the trigger right here. This is the piece of the trigger. This piece right here is still stuck in here because this snapped off. This little piece right here, I thought I had it, but I guess not. This little piece right here doesn't have very much meat right there, so it was easily broke off. And I could pretty much tell you how that broke off. You have to squeeze this upper lever here, so it's like a safety lever. Once you push that down, it allows this trigger to move up and down. So it must have fell and something hit it just right, and it snapped off this portion right here. But anyway, let's get moving with the repair. All right, so if you've never done this, I would recommend you take pictures, but since I've kind of done this on other equipment, I kind of got an idea of what's going on here, so I'm not going to necessarily take pictures. Not that I'm a professional, but I think I know what I'm doing here. We just want to make sure that nothing jumps out and gets out of whack. Here's your on-off switch. So we want to go ahead and make sure that's in place and nothing's moved. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to loosen that T27, and I'm going to use this guy here, little combination wrench. I'm going to use that to loosen this up. Like I said, I haven't done this before, but I'm pretty sure this is the right way. I'm sure there's hundreds of ways to do this, but I'm going to do it the way I feel is correct. All right, I'm going to just slide that to the side like you saw me do right there. Just get it out of the way. What I'm going to try to do now, let me get some needle nose pliers. Should have had all that ahead of time. I'm going to disconnect the throttle cable. The end of the throttle cable has a little ball, and it fits right in there. And I'm going to just try to pull it out so it's not in the way. Let's see here. And probably the best way to do that would be, okay, I was going to say the best way would be to take the trigger or the throttle cable off the carburetor, but as you can see, that's not necessary. So far everything is going good. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's going this easy. There's a spring somewhere here, and that is going to be down in here. Okay, that's where it's going to get tricky. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do just so I get a good idea. I'm going to take this other one off. Maybe you don't need to do this, maybe you do, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because I want to get the full picture of what's going on here. Alrighty, so we'll move this guy to the side. Now that I got this where I want it, I want to make sure that the throttle cable stays pretty much intact. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to see how this spring is set in here. Okay, it's right there. Man, it's rusted. Okay, so it's right there and it goes straight up. Okay, I think I got it. Like I said, I ain't done this before, but if I can do it, I believe you can do it as well. So we're going to remove this broken piece. Just like that. And there's the spring that I'm talking about. This spring right here, we're going to reuse that spring. We're going to put it on this new assembly here. So we're going to basically just put it in the same way it is. It goes in under and clips in right there. Oops. Come on. Just like that. Wait a minute. Just like that. You got to make sure it doesn't stick out. I almost had it in there wrong. You see, that's what I'm saying. You got to pay attention. So let me do that again. If you just shove it in there, it's going to stick out through the side like that. It needs to go in through the top side. So we need to flip it over and then we turn it. Oops, let me do that again in the camera. Sorry about that. So we put this spring in there where it goes in. It makes contact there. Then we want to turn this over and push it down. Just like that. Then we're going to install it. And we push this up. There we go. There we go. Excellent. And put that throttle cable back where it goes with all these other kill wires. It's important that you put these kill wires back in there because if you pinch them, they can ground and then your machine's not going to start, all because of a grounding issue. So let's make sure that's not the case here. All right, so I got it in there. Now it's time to put the throttle cable back in place. Let's see how that can do that. Where's my... This is not very hard, guys, but I'm trying to make a career out of this repair, so bear with me here. All right, so I got all that where it needs to go. That goes there. These cables try to come out. We need to make sure we put these where they belong so they don't get pinched. I've seen that where they get pinched and then the machine doesn't want to start no more. Okay. Come on, hide in there. Get back in there. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Everything's looking good. All right, so I'm going to put this back on. Just like that. I had a feeling this would be somewhat easy. But I don't want to get too excited too early. So let me push. I got to push this down a little bit so I can slide this over. Just like that. And then tighten this guy up. If you were to take this to a repair shop, they probably charge you $30, $40 to replace this little trigger here. So just to kind of make sure everything is working correctly, you want to make sure you push this down just softly. I want to... Works pretty good to me. See how you can't push that in? You got to have that pushed down first and then that goes in. All right, so that was quick. Now we're going to put it back together. Man, I feel happy. I'm so excited that everything went smooth. Typically, things don't go this smooth. But when God's on your side, you can expect a better outcome. All right, so let's go ahead and let me make sure I tighten this side over here. Getting too excited over here because everything was going smoothly. Let me just make sure I gave this a good snug. Okay. When I'm making these videos, I get sidetracked. All right, let's go ahead and put this half back on, and it should just fit easily on there. If you got to sit there and hit it, that means something didn't align correctly, and you need to open it up and make sure everything's tucked away properly, because if you pinch one of those wires, it could cause a grounding issue, and then your machine will not start. So let's use this battery powered here. And I'm just going to do a little bit on each one. I'm not going to bottom them out just yet. I want to make sure everything's going down evenly. And since this is plastic, I'm going to use a hand combination wrench, T27, to just kind of snug them up. I'm not going to use that battery powered tool because I might strip them. I got a smaller 12 volt over there, but this is pretty easy, so I'm just going to use my combination wrench here. Alrighty. And before I get excited, I'm going to try it again and make sure over here I can see the I can see the throttle cable is doing what it's supposed to. So we're done with that. Just took right at 10 minutes. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to grease the gear head where the string is, and I'm going to take out the shaft and I'm going to clean it, re-lube it, and put it back in there. We're going to do that right now. All right, so here's your gearbox. This is what they would call the gearbox, this guy right here. And you got a plug fitting right there. And this combination wrench fits that plug just perfectly. So we're going to go ahead and loosen that. We're going to loosen this right here, take it off. And we're going to get the correct grease that goes in there. You want to make sure you put the correct grease in there. You got grease that's for hedge clippers. Sometimes you'll see the picture on the tube. So we want to make sure we get the one that has the picture of the weed eater head, not the hedge clipper. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to apply a little bit of grease in there. We're not going to sit there and force it in there. We're just going to lightly press until we feel that it filled up right about there. It doesn't take much, less than what you would put on your toothbrush. It's a good example of how much it would actually fit in there. So we go ahead and tighten that back up. We're going to tighten that back up, and like I said, we're going to tighten this up by hand. Just like that. Next thing we're going to do is take off this whole gearbox. And what I like to do here, if you've seen my other videos, I like to get something with the edge and just kind of scratch right there. And what I'm doing here is I'm scratching a line so I know how much this slides down. So this slides down the same way and deep enough, because if it doesn't align with that shaft, you're going to think you have it in there all the way, but when you sit there and give it gas, the trimmer head's not going to spin because you didn't get it all the way in there. So that little mark kind of lets you know that's where it should be at. Some of you may have already knew that. Some of you may have just learned something new. Either way, I'm here to show you the ropes. That's my job, is to show you the ropes. So a T27 also takes out this gearbox. We're going to loosen this T27 screw. And I believe this one here, this kind of keeps it aligned so you keep it straight. We're going to loosen both of those, just finger loose, and then we're going to just pull it out just like this. Oh, not yet. Let me take it out more. This guy's longer than I thought. So we're just going to take out that one. We're going to leave the other one in there, and it will just slide off. And you can see here the shiny part and the dirty side. So that kind of lets you know how far that gearbox needs to go down. It needs to go down until all this shiny is covered, and then you start with the dirty part of your tube. That's how far down you need to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take out this flex cable. We're going to pull it out. We're going to wipe it clean, and we're going to put some new grease in there. And I just get me a rag, and I'll pull it out, and it actually don't look that bad actually. You know what? Hold on a second. Maybe we don't need to service this. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to pull it out just a little bit, just so you could see what I'm talking about. And I have the other grease here, so I'm going to apply a little bit just for giggles. I'm going to apply the correct grease for the drive shaft. Just a little bit. I don't even have to put that much because it's actually pretty new, if you can see here. It's good condition grease, so I'm just going to slide it back in there. Just apply a little bit of grease on there. Slide it in there. I really don't even need to apply none. This is actually pretty good. I'm just gonna put a little bit extra. It ain't gonna hurt it. And just push it in there. Next thing, this is a square drive shaft, so we want to make sure that we turn it and it slides all the way down. You see how it went down more? Let me show you here again. If I pull it out, that's how much it goes down. But if I turn it, it aligns with the coupler over there and it slides in more. See how it goes in more? That's what we're looking for. We want to make sure that it's in on the other side where the clutch drum is. But now that we got that correctly installed, it's time to put the gear head back on. And remember, we're going to slide it all the way down to where our mark was. And we're going to align the holes. You got a hole on the tube right there. And that's for this screw. So we're going to go ahead and align it. And see how it didn't want to go in all the way. I still got a big gap. You can see right here. I got a gap right here. So what I need to do is turn the gearbox so it can align with the drive shaft and allow it to slide in all the way. So we just can turn this and it should align, or we can turn the whole gearbox itself. This is actually being fun here. There we go. Now what we got to do is make sure we align that hole with the tube hole. So what I could do here is right there. I just got me a little screwdriver, pushed it in there, and made sure that it was in there. That's all I really did. I'm going to put that screw back in there. And it should go in all the way without any resistance because the hole's already been made. If you don't have it aligned properly, that screw will not go in easily. So we want to go ahead and just tighten it up with this combination wrench. And tighten the other one up. And guys, that's about it for this less than 20-minute video. I really appreciate you guys. SRM-2620. It's good to go. That's all it needed was the trigger. We're good to go. So thank you guys very much for your time. Once again, my name is Mike. I'm with M&G Hydraulic Technologies. We do repairs of post-tension equipment. We fix generators. We fix basically everything: steel, chainsaw, chop saws, quickie, what they call it, cutoff saws. We fix these weed eaters. We fix water pumps. We fix cylinders, jacks, water pumps. We even cook on the side. So check out my cooking videos, like and subscribe. We do it all here. This is a one-stop shop. Thank you guys so much for your time. I hope you learned something. More importantly, please show your support, like, subscribe, comment, and now you can also join my channel. Please consider joining my channel for as low as $3.99 a month. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves.